Welcome to this lesson on mastering default values in JavaScript using the logical OR operator double pipe. Our goal is to understand truthy and falsy values, use the double pipe for setting defaults, and know when to prefer the nullish coalescing operator. If a username variable is an empty string, should we display their name or a default like stranger? In JavaScript, an empty string is a falsy value, meaning the default stranger would automatically kick in. Let's dive into core concepts, truthy versus falsy values. There are exactly 6 falsy values in JavaScript. These are false, 0, an empty string a, null, undefined, and nan. Everything else like a, 42, curly braces, or a function is considered truthy. The double pipe operator uses short circuit evaluation. B returns A if A is truthy, otherwise it returns B. Crucially, B is only evaluated if A is falsy, which is the short circuit behavior. Let's see this in action. If username is an empty string, default name becomes stranger. However, if username is Tony, default name correctly becomes Tony, as Tony is a truthy value. Now, let's apply this to a practical scenario. If tool is an empty string, writing utensil becomes pen. If we reassign tool to marker, writing utensil then becomes marker, because marker is a truthy value. This works because in the first run, tool is falsy, so pen is used. In the second, tool is truthy, so marker is retained. A common pitfall is accidentally hiding valid empty values. For instance, double pipe default will always result in default. If you intend to allow an empty string as a valid value, but still want to fall back for null or undefined, use the nullish coalescing operator, nullish coalescing operator. The order of operations also matters. User.name double pipe getGuessed. Name only calls getGuessedName if user.name is falsy, which is good for performance. Always remember the 6 falsy values. If any of them appear on the left side of double pipe, the right side will be used. Let's predict some outputs. What does double pipe pen evaluate to, or 0 is 10? And what about null, backup, or undefined.x? Think about the answer. You got it? Consider a user config with an empty theme. Using mba would default it to light, but would preserve the empty string. In summary, use double pipe to set defaults when any falsy value should trigger the default back. Use nullish coalescing operator when only null or undefined should trigger the fallback, preserving other falsy values. This short-circuiting behavior keeps your JavaScript code concise and efficient.